In a quarter of a mile, keep right to continue towards Tuns Lane, A355. Keep right. In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto the M4 slip road to London Heathrow Airport. In a quarter of a mile, merge onto M4. Continue on M4 for 3 miles. In 2 miles, at junction 5, take the A4, B470 exit to Colnbridge, Langley. In a quarter of a mile, at junction 5, take the A4, B470 exit to Colnbrook, Langley. Exit at junction 5. In a quarter of a mile, at Langley roundabout, take the third exit onto London Road, A4. In 2 miles, at junction 3, take the A312 exit to Harrow, Hayes. In a quarter of a mile, at junction 3, take the A312 exit to Harrow, Hayes. Exit at junction 3. In a quarter of a mile, at Cranford Parkway interchange, take the 3rd exit onto the Parkway, A312.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes short story A Scandal in Bohemia was published for the first time, and in 2019 a fan gave birth to a pink pig in Liverpool. Denise Jones named the child Dolly Pink after Roger Beats the other day didn't have some very peculiar names that came out. Wasn't it Usain Bolt has got thunder and lightning and all sorts of Thunderbolt and all sorts of strange names. Steve, if I'm doing a strict diet, I see here about Peter and advertisement, I stop my diet and go order a takeaway. It's as simple as that. Yes, but the trouble is we all know what we're not supposed to eat.
Exit the roundabout onto the Parkway.
All the time. It's very fattening. So it's okay to have it, but it's classed as junk food. And it's not just...
Continue on the Parkway for 1 mile.
Even though I've never classed it as fish and chips, it's junk food. Because it's all fried. Anything high in fat, sugar or salt. So KFC will be classed as junk food because it's high in salt. So anything with high fat content. I used to look at all the sandwiches and look at the fat content. It's quite depressing. You can get very, very depressed by looking at it thinking, why is that not working? Why is that not working? And sweets. I mean, the trouble is, because you need to sell an awful lot of sweets to make a profit, they don't really advertise sweets on television, apart from things like Ferrero Rocher. What else do they advertise? They do Haribo chocolate, we know we're not supposed to have all these things. You can have something in moderation. But then, who wants to have things in moderation? I've just brought them in a box of biscuits, which are white chocolate, dark chocolate, and milk chocolate. How many are left? You're having them in moderation. Because the trouble is, it's not physically possible to just buy a packet of biscuits and have one. That would be a pointless thing. Yeah. Oh, Dominic Ellis, of course, our newsreader. I mean, he can make some chocolates last a year. I've never known anything like it. It is one of those things, though, isn't it? We know what's bad for us, but at the same time, we like eating it. You know, otherwise these places wouldn't exist. You know, if nobody ate McDonald's or KFC, the shops wouldn't be there, but they are there. I like a panini. I don't know whether it's fattening or not. I shall probably discover at some point in my life that paninis with cheese and Marmite are really bad. Apparently, my friend Chris over in Spain says, so glad we can get Marmite here again. It's been out of stock for ages. Bought a large jar for €4.25. But the trouble is, Marmite lasts forever. Ever. I mean, I'm not even sure if it's actually got sell-by dates on Marmite, because you can have something, you know, in your cupboard for ages and ages and ages. Not worry about it. I mean, a jar of Marmite, how long would that last a family? About a year.
In a quarter of a mile at Wagoners Roundabout, take the second exit and stay on the Parkway, A312.
6:30. The latest headlines with Simon Conway.
The addition of 14 destinations to the green list has been welcomed by the travel industry, but bosses say it fails to go far enough. From Wednesday, people will be able to go to Spain's Balearic Islands, Malta, Madeira, and parts of the Caribbean without having to quarantine on return. The government's insisting it will publish the results of its events research program before the final lifting of COVID restrictions. Andrew Lloyd Webber is among figures in the entertainment industry who are launching legal action to force ministers to hand over the findings. The program ran a series
Exit the roundabout onto the Parkway. Continue on A312 for 1.5 miles.
Pounds of Bitcoin has been seized by police as part of an investigation into money laundering offences. Scotland Yard says it's the largest cryptocurrency confiscation in the UK to date. And the weather, cool, cloudy and breezy with rain at times to much of Scotland and northern England. Further south, sunny spells developing, but also some heavy showers and thunderstorms, a high of 21 degrees.
LBC, coming up on Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Take your seats, ladies and gentlemen, for the hottest ticket in town. Theatre legend Andrew Lloyd Webber is ready to take the government to court of what is seen to be their hesitance to release data on the safety of audiences returning to live events. This could be a lifeline to the entire industry, and this is just Act 1. It's sure to run, and your chance for a preview is with me, Nick Ferrari, this morning from 7. LBC.
All adults without symptoms can now get free rapid COVID-19 testing kits.
When using these kits correctly, the tests are 99.9% effective, which means the risk of false positives is extremely low. That's less than 1 in 1,000.
Tests are easy to use and give results in less than 30 minutes. Order yours today at nhs.uk/get tested or call 119.
Hi, I'm Thomas, a cleaner for TFL. Wherever you are going, our network can be used safely. We are keeping our services cleaner than ever by regularly cleaning with hospital-grade disinfectant. Regular independent tests have found no traces of the virus. However, please continue to wear a face covering at all times unless exempt. Download TFL Go, our real-time travel app, to plan your journey. We are ready when you are. To the Mayor of London and TFL, every journey matters.
I'm sorry, you have progressive memory loss.
When you hear these words, the outlook is bleak. But at Recognition Health, the brain and mind experts, we're working to change that. Volunteer for our clinical studies to receive free access to a new generation medication, as well as comprehensive medical screening. With your help, we can change the future of MCI and Alzheimer's disease.
You have progressive memory loss. But here's what we can do.
Go to brainandmindexperts.com.
The Seven Dwarfs were in a bit of a pickle. With the mines closing down, their finances were somewhat fickle. They looked to downsize their home fast, so Snow White can make her debts a thing of the past.
Boys, the cottage is looking well rough.
So they spoke to the friendly team of Property Rescue, who buy properties any condition and can offer a guaranteed sale in as little as 2 days, hassle-free. Fast forward to living happily ever after. Visit propertyrescue.co.uk. property rescue. Fast forward to sold.
Steve Allen on LBC. Text 84850.
Morning, everybody. Actually, I forgot, but in 1983, going back into our diary, America's first spacewoman came back to Earth yesterday, and her husband had to fly across the country to greet her. The shuttle Challenger, with Dr. Sally Ride on board, switched landing sites from Florida to California, owing to bad weather. She said of the 6-day mission, "I'm sure it'll be the most fun I'll ever have in my entire life." I'm not sure if I'd want to do something like that. I'm in two minds.